IVM.
Okay, 4 years of IVM. I was there on the first day. I'm here after 4 years. And the question I've asked my therapist is, why? Doesn't have an answer. But we're going to go on for 4 more years, just like the government. Give us a chance. And maybe one day this will be a happy world. Thanks to our podcast. We aim that high. I also want to thank everybody involved in the production. Namely, that guy and that fellow. But you know I'm close to all of them. So that small chap especially and the fat guy. But yeah, beautiful work, guys. Well done. And I'll be at your weddings. All vegetarian, not going. Kripaya dhyan dijiye. The language used on the podcast may not be fit for consumption. We warn you, tread carefully. But listen, yaar, don't be so conservative.
You're listening to Cyrus Says.
Another day in the life of episode of Cock and Bull, which is Englishly incorrect, but then it's a bad time to start now. But we have Kajol, we have Abbas, and we have Amit, all in the studio discussing everything from Pulwama to my pants.
Why follow your auntie's advice when you can follow Cyrus Says on Facebook and Twitter to stay updated about the latest shows?
First off, I have to say I love my country. I also love humanity, and I love people to be alive. In fact, I love people to be alive more than anything else in the world. Having said that, it's not that I don't wish death on people while I'm driving, but that's another issue and it's a little petty. Now, I'll just say this much, and I want to be very clear here, so don't send me letters. If you say India and Pakistan should not play on June 16th in the World Cup, etc., fine, that's your belief. We should have nothing to do with them. My point is, if that's your stand, and we do play, and the match does happen, as I think it will, you can't watch the match. You can't have it both ways. You can't suddenly say, "Kya score kya hai, Cyrus?" I'm not telling you. I'm not interested in you because you've decided they should never play. And suddenly you're asking me what's going on in the game. This happens all the time. Double standards. I hate that double standards. It's called Cock and Bull, which used to be Cyrus Says. We start now, after this break.
Hey Meghnad, do you know how to citizen?
Hey Shreyas, do you know how to citizen?
Hey Meghnad, do you know how to citizen?
Hey Shreyas, let's just do a podcast about it.
Let's do a podcast about it. A podcast is called
How to Citizen.
In every episode, we get a new guest and discuss one chapter from the 8th grade civics textbook. Think about it as 3 friends revising before a test. And we go back to school. There's nostalgia, there's trauma, there are lunch breaks, there are favorite teachers, there are horrible teachers, there's everything.
So every Tuesday we bring in a guest on the podcast and we ask them a very simple question. Do you know how to citizen?
Meghnad, I think the question is, do you know how to citizen?
But Shreyas, I'm asking you this question. Do you know how to citizen?
All right, welcome to the show, Cock and Bull. I always start with a big all right and a lot of happiness, and I notice by the third sentence I'm down. Okay. I sound like Javed by himself.
Miyadad. Akhtar.
How can you all really go there?
Well, I mean,
I was talking about Javed Akhtar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
जैसे कुर्बानी करके आसमान के छोटे से नीचे एक पहल के आगा.
I think we have too much Imran Khan in our heads these days, which is why
Sonny Bhai used to ask me about cricket, and I've always tried to maintain that personally, I feel India and Pakistan should play more cricket. You know, but Kajol, welcome to the show.
Hey, Cyrus.
So nice to see you. Because it's not the token woman. Not the token woman. People I've got letters saying, oh, token woman. No, that's all lies.
Someone called me a token woman.
No, not you. Just they saying, why do you have to always insist that you have to have this one or that one or this one? You know how they used to accuse people in the, sitcoms right up to 10 years ago in America of having the token black or Hispanic.
Yes.
So the guy has to be there. And sometimes it makes sense because it's a little all-white town. And, the guy just doesn't fit in the postal service there or whatever. All right. Welcome to the show. We've got lots to talk about with you later on, including your special. Abbas, who's our producer, also a stand-up comedian and suffers me daily and weekly. And everybody writes in and says I keep making fun of him or roasting him or words like that, which I don't.
Yeah.
I can't believe this is true, but I have no memory of this.
So this is true. Last week I asked you the question about getting roasted, right?
Uh-huh.
Someone dug out episode 206 where Naveen was asked the same question. Someone sent in a question about Naveen being roasted.
So now the finger of suspicion falls also Naveen's mom, who's now after my life.
So now I'm wondering if all producers throughout your career have had that problem.
Yeah, but I'll tell you one thing.
You know what? That's a good segment. We should kind of do a retrospective.
I have a record in MTV. I've been hit by 4 producers.
There you go.
Which nobody else has. 2, level of familiarity being such that they could treat me so badly. And B, all were women. Wasn't. So 1 man, 3 women. Okay? One was terrible. Manjari actually threw Coke and French fries in a car from Birmingham to London all over me.
Okay.
And all I did was I got this young boy who was in the car and was working with us with an English accent. I made him do an Italian accent and we just kept irritating her. That's it. We were doing bad Italian. Hey Manjari, what's up? That's all we did. And, we used to poke her shoulder because she was sitting in front. So finally she got angry and threw everything on us.
Nice.
Yeah. So I've had a good record with producers, yeah. But actually, I didn't really do anything. I don't have any specific thing. I'm just irritated.
In your head, you didn't, right?
Like, there's no real bad incident except that I just
Yeah, but then
get under their skin.
That is the thing that kind of...
But who do you tease on long drives if you don't tease the producer?
That is a
Can't
good
tease the driver because you could bang the car.
That is true.
So, it's
That's the most inconsequential people
in that scenario. Love hurts. Love hurts. Roy Orbison. Check it out. And Amit, our leader proprietor, is the name, who's got lots of stories to tell, the face of the cynic.
Okay.
And now somebody tells me he's a proud BJP card-carrying member.
Really?
He switches parties every week. He's the Sanjay Nirupam of podcasts.
Okay.
I don't know how to respond to that.
All right, but we will respond with the first question, which is...
First topic of the day. So last time when we did Cock and Bull, the Balakot attacks had just happened, so we didn't get a deep dive
Just
into
attacks,
it.
not question mark. You're saying attacks.
Not question mark.
Just clarifying off the bat.
The attacks definitely happened. The casualties
question mark, yes.
So we didn't get to touch upon the Wing Commander Abhinandan getting captured and then getting released.
That happened after, right? Yeah.
That happened after. So
coming back to, just before we get into Abhinandan, just very quickly, and then there's this whole thing with news channels do, which is amazing, how they don't realize how stupid the story starts getting in the retelling, but there were 300 cell phones found.
So do you remember?
300 cell phones found? I mean, what is it like? Something like a bazaar.
On Saturday, all of a sudden, everybody was talking about who's been drugged and what kind of drugs they've been getting. That came on Saturday and that disappeared now. But I saw that on like 3 different newscasts on Saturday morning, that he was put under like truth serum drugs and this and that. It came and it went.
But this is now we move back to Abhinandan. Okay, all right. Yeah, that story, because he had I think he doesn't want to really talk about it, quite frankly. But when you look back at Pakistan for a second, if they've decided to release him, they obviously have to treat him well, because at the end of the day, he's going to go back to India.
Exactly.
So if you're going to send him back as a diplomat of peace and make yourself look good, why would you treat him badly? I mean, initially, obviously, he did get hit by villagers and all. But I'm saying they would have treated him well then.
Because India and Pakistan, both of them have enough unofficial soldiers who you can treat as badly as you want to. So why would you treat the official soldiers
And
badly?
as long as Republic TV doesn't have the name of the soldier who's in captivity, it's okay. They just carry on with it. But coming back to this, I'm just saying it beats logic. So obviously they would then, having got him, treated him well, they must have cut paste those videos. You could see that was happening.
Yeah.
But it's okay. It was like they were ill-treating him. They were treating him.
It was a violation of the Geneva Convention. You can't make a video out while the prisoner.
This is India and
captive.
Pakistan. More importantly, Pakistan. Are you telling me that laws always apply to the letter? No, but having said that, some sort of good result was achieved and he crosses the border and comes home, and I try to look at it from that perspective and not all this under the table sort of nonsense and conjecture. Conjecture can never end, right? Is there a bomb in him is one of the things. They put a bomb in Abhinandan and he's going to blow up years later.
What was that?
Who said that?
There's a question of he's a slow poison. You guys are not listening? The media is filled with great minds.
That's the plot of the show Homeland.
My friend, all the creativity of India, all the Premchands of today come to one place and one place alone. English news channels at 9 p.m. That's where the greatest minds of the world, all the Pulitzers, the Bookers. I've
got to say, you can't neglect Saturday at 12 p.m. either.
Saturday at 12 p.m., yes.
Those shows are amazing, man.
But it's also, you're just telling us about the social life of Cyrus and Amit as well. I do 9, he does 12, beech mein kuch nahi hoga.
So ultimately, who got the upper hand here? Pakistan for letting the soldier go, getting.
I think Imran
PR.
more than Pakistan, because Imran also speaks well, whether you like it or not. He does speak well, so he was able to.
So does our Prime Minister.
Yes, but I'm saying he was dousing the fires. He was dousing the fires from their point of view. They won the back foot. Let's face it. First the accusations, then the attacks, then our attacks on them. So I think he handled that somewhat well diplomatically in the position he was in. And hopefully, I don't know about you guys, I'm just hoping no war happens. I just can't understand when
And I
people
think
say,
that is
kill.
that's the ultimate win,
futile.
right? The ultimate win is de-escalation.
Yeah.
But the bombings still continue. There are still reports.
Which is Punjabi for escalation, by the way, yeah? The escalation is happening. So be careful of language. Language can cause trouble. I don't want nuclear weapons to be in the hands of people who cannot understand what they're doing. I'm so scared of that. If there's some idiot peon fellow who doesn't know what's going on, he doesn't understand your command in a mixed language that we speak in, next thing you know, boom, he presses the wrong button at the end of Warsaw because, they may be pointing in the wrong direction. Nobody's interested.
I don't know what to say.
Obviously, I'm on some speed drug that you mentioned in the beginning.
The day Abhinandan was released, Domino's Pizza was giving out free pizzas to anyone named Abhinandan.
But you have to show your ID and all that, right?
Yeah.
Can you fake it?
I don't know.
How much time do you have? I'm sure you
For
can.
one, how low would you go for a
get it
pizza?
laminated. You just put some club membership on it.
But you probably have to register on the Domino's app with your actual ID, no?
Oh, that.
Yeah.
Oh, that. So they already have the
And
information.
with Aadhaar, they can ask you for the Aadhaar card and they'll get the information back. So
But we must have a few Abhinandans. Any figures there? And hello, how much can you order?
One pizza. One free
their
pizza.
choice.
Their choice.
But I want pepperoni.
That'll
for
be a
example.
margarita.
Yeah, the plain cheese mozzarella
What if it's
margarita.
like
99 rupees.
It's in an area where they don't serve
6
pepperoni or
inches
meat.
pizza.
Or
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think Domino's serves pepperoni.
No, they do. They do.
No,
In
you
India,
get
it's all about.
pepperoni.
Yeah.
It's all about different areas.
We serve pepperoni here.
you get
Yeah, I
pepperoni,
did a Domino's
pepperoni,
pizza
yeah.
ad. Believe it or not.
Where?
I think
All
so.
Domino's have pepperoni.
But that's chicken
Yeah,
pepperoni,
that's-
right?
No, it's pepperoni.
Oh, really?
It says American pepperoni.
Yeah.
It's beef.
Pork.
Pork. You,
Sorry.
I
Come on.
thought you were
Come
Bengali
on.
blood. You don't know your food.
No. In the UAE, it's beef. That's why I get confused.
One minute. But you are half Bengali, right?
I am half Bengali.
Return that 50%. None of my Bengali friends would have made this mistake on food. They may make a mistake on politics occasionally, but never on food. How dare you? To you quote Arnab Goswami. How dare you? All right, sorry, where were we?
We're talking about pepperoni pizza.
How did we go there?
Which is
It's
the
such a
best pepperoni
serious
pizza?
issue. We're talking about, a fighter pilot of 3-generation fighter pilot, obviously a man who's really, the heart is in the right place, a man who's built for, fighting for his country, etc. And a harrowing experience whether you like it or not. Would you like to be
Exactly.
in enemy territory? Imagine what he felt when he landed and these villagers start,
He was in a plane crash.
Yeah.
Like, come on. it
I mean,
doesn't-
from there,
yeah.
I mean, exactly. Yeah. Okay, I think we've
So
run out
you-
of options.
You said it was a very serious issue, right? So Trevor Noah, in his monologue on the Daily Show,
yes.
he made a joke about India-Pakistan going to war, and it'll be the longest war of all time because there'll be another music number. Then he did a little impersonation of what in gibberish Hindi or whatever Indian language.
Gibberish Hindi. Have you heard Karan Johar song?
Yeah, more or less.
Have you heard Shamak Dawar sing Jhoot Bole Kawa Kaate? You don't blame Trevor Noah. I can sing songs for you. Aaja mere gaadi mein baith jao. Have you heard that song?
That's our...
Hello. Yo-Yo Honey sings greatest hits. How dare you make fun of Trevor Noah? There have been some really great songs.
He received a lot of flack on Twitter. People called him racist. They said that
I
it's
can't
a-
understand this again. When they make jokes about some other cultures, we all laugh. You
Exactly.
have to learn to laugh about all this. We can't take all this seriously. What's happening?
Yeah, I just think it
What?
was a bad joke. It wasn't racist. I
Well,
mean,
if you feel offended, I understand that. But really,
Okay, so how much did we talk about the Apu thing? It's the same thing. I don't have a problem with him making the joke about the Bollywood thing. I have a problem with him making accents.
Are we've done bad French accents.
I know, I don't like those
he
either.
does African accents all the time, right? Because he's from South Africa.
Right.
Yeah, but they're slightly more-
doesn't that kind of give him a free pass?
No, it does not. It does not. It does not give him a free pass.
we
It does not give
we
us...
three need to discuss this. Amit's not here. He's scary.
Russell Peters does a very strange Indian accent himself.
And I don't think that Russell Peters gets a pass. I don't think...
he says the ethnicity is allowed to make fun of the ethnicity.
Yeah.
You can't make fun of my ethnicity.
Yeah, but
Russell
No, I
Peters
don't-
also have Arab accents and African
So he
accents.
doesn't get a pass on that.
Amit,
But
Amit,
then he has to end his comedy career.
Yes,
then.
he
Amit
does.
has just come back from putting the stone out towards the Babri Masjid, laying the first
Wow,
stone.
okay.
Oh, okay.
What's the
too
masjid?
much. Sorry, got it wrong. The mandir. What a mistake to make, though. Was it mandir or masjid? I'm just a businessman. I can't remember.
I think Indians outrage too much on Twitter.
Too much.
I don't
There should be
disagree
a
with that
tax.
at all.
There should be a tax. You superbly put, Kajol. There should be
So
tax.
that
on
this is what the thing is. So some of the people who spoke out against Trevor, right? You go to their timelines, okay?
Yeah.
And about the Abhinandan thing, they're like, we are being too overreactive. We should keep it in balance. And then in the next tweet, they're like, Trevor Noah is a racist for joking about
For
this.
saying Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gum with a bad accent, with the Afrikaans accent.
So it's the
Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gum.
It's like if you're on the Daily Show, if you're a comedian, then it's essentially the same thing. Like, don't you dare talk about this.
Basically, it's virtue
Everything is
signaling.
fair. Everything is fair game. If somebody's really offended, just apologize and move on. Because unless you're maliciously trying to offend someone, which is called insulting, which is different. Americans
But
now
here's
call
the
it
thing,
roasting,
right?
but that's a different story.
People are like, how can he make fun of a war? The Daily Show of war.
So
The Daily
that, I
Show
think,
is
is
supposed
nonsense.
to
They make fun of all the other wars that are going on. Attacks in Afghanistan, attacks in Iraq, attacks in between Israel and the Arabs, attacks in the home countries. I mean, what are you talking about? I can't. I give up. I'm becoming a tax accountant.
No, I just think that everyone's virtue signaling on the net. Like, I'm so patriotic, I can wave a flag. Kangana Ranaut, okay, she wants to go to the border and fire a gun at the Pakistanis.
She's done enough by making the film Queen.
No, but my point is, she modeled for a Pakistani designer called Saira Rizwan in October 2018.
Yeah. She's returning the money? She's returning the money? She's return the money.
She's not. And there's
the outfit.
Yes.
But wear something else before she returns the outfit. Sometimes you forget.
Cyrus. Yeah. She's also released Mani Karnika in Pakistan. Okay, so I'm not getting the logic behind I'm an Indian. Anyone who's anti-national should be put on a donkey and beaten by people on the streets.
It's very easy to join the hate mob. If you notice it as a kid growing up or whatever, you know, somebody, they pick on a kid, everybody just wants to pick on the same kid. It's very easy to get into that, you know, everybody takes a shot. So that, I think, is another human factor beyond being Indian or not. Yeah. It's just this human mob frenzy thing that we have, and it's just getting worse because of the internet.
And to pick up on what she said about anti-nationalism, right, and this kind of constant kind of push into kind of calling people anti-national around this. We were talking about this before, right, the video of Rahul Kanwar and Piyush Goyal, right, to an extent, where... What happened is during the course of the video, Rahul Kanwar was asking a question that, do you think the government should address the fact that there are so many conflicting stories about what has happened in this, in the attack? Yeah.
The criticism of the attack.
The criticism.
The controversies.
And so that's all he's asking. He's saying, should the government address this? He's not making any accusations. He's not saying anything. All of a sudden, Piyush Goyal goes off on this rant saying, how can you question the government? How can you question the army?
It's sacrilege. You cannot, get into that discussion.
I mean, what the hell is a Gaddar list? How can you use a term like Gaddar so lightly?
Yeah, because really. This is basically authoritarianism 101, right? This is how do you turn this into an us versus them situation.
But talk to the Faujis or the Fauji kids or the Fauji friends you have. And many of them are not interested in this kind of behavior.
Of course.
And they don't understand how middle class people around India are deciding for them and for their relatives who are actually in the front what life is all about and what they should do. And many of them know the brutalities and ugliness of war. Like that kid, that young Delhi girl whose father was a martyr who came out. And then, I think Vinendra Sehwag went after her and all that. She was just talking about peace. Good man. And nobody knows about peace better than someone who's actually seen the brutality and all this rubbish that's going on. So, I don't know what to do anymore. I just feel there's too much emotion.
Because, see, again, when I think
about... Piyush is a lovely guy. I've met Piyush. I've done a couple of events with him. He's actually a guy I can relate to. So then you start getting scared. No, but I suppose it just got to him as well.
I've seen him do other talks, right? I've seen him talk on other spaces, and he
makes a lot of sense.
Very reasonable
guy. Civil, witty as well. As you saw, the budget performance was pretty good, including the propaganda for the film. But yeah, that's fine.
But I think you're right. Exactly what happens over here is that you start seeing these kind of contrasts set up, right? You have absolute right-wing morons and you have absolute left-wing morons. Yeah. And everybody is trying to basically get these two people to fight, and they hijack the conversation in a way that any kind of reasonableness, any kind of sense is just kind of out the window.
I don't even use the word reason. I'm saying just look at some sort of compromise always as a way to just avoid death. But why is death the option? I don't understand how that makes sense. And what do you mean by there will be no collateral damage? Are you telling me children don't get killed when you bombs from the sky? I mean, come on. And kids cannot be looked at from religious point of view and from race point of view and national point of view. They're kids. I mean, are people thinking about this? How would you feel as a guy who killed an 8-year-old child or 5-year-old child? Well, what kind of person goes back and says, I had a good day today? 3 5-year-olds. Come on. What the hell?
But it's more than the armed forces. Anyone making hate speeches like this, like anyone asking for peace with Pakistan should be beaten up on the streets, is also is morally responsible for anyone getting lynched. Because you're asking people to beat up people.
But some merchant from Panchil Park or some trader from Nepensi Road doing it is even more funny. Because their chances of actually going to the front and fighting is almost zero.
I'm talking about Kangana Ranaut.
Which is the same thing. She has flats in both places. You really don't like Kangana?
I don't like hate mongering.
Yeah. And she's always seems to be in the forefront for putting her voice through the whole I will die for India thing.
But there are. I think
all we ever wanted from her was to say the word queen the way it is and not queen.
So
much.
If you look at all of your Bollywood actors, right? I mean, like they're all on the hyper patriotic side, right?
How did that happen?
But I think
because if
back in the 70s and 80s, it wouldn't have happened.
But won't their films run into trouble if they say anything else?
But why do they need to be so politically active? Is what I'm saying. Why do they need you?
Why not?
You can be
because
quiet.
Sometimes.
But what if a journalist asked them the question? So Alia and Ranveer were asked a question during the Gully Boy media when they were doing media.
He should have rapped.
And they gave a politically
a word of Gully Boy. He could have rapped the whole thing.
That was Baba Segal's flow.
Who cares? The point is you talk in that verse, nobody can understand, and pieces. We've resolved the issue.
No, so here's the thing. So
Dear Arabs in Israel,
Ranveer gave
watch
a very
Gully Boy.
I'm sure they have already. He gave a very politically correct answer where it was not offensive, which is that I respect the Prime Minister and whatever's happening, I back him.
What he also said was that I have electricity and water in my house, so politics doesn't affect me.
Ranveer said that?
Yes,
okay,
that's what
Ranveer
said
Ranveer
that.
Kapoor.
Yeah,
okay.
And that's what Kangana took off at him about.
Because she was in Calcutta at that time and there was load shedding on Thursday. I mean, come on. Is it Ranveer's fault? He made one mistake called Savaria. Can we just let it go? It's been really good after that. Yeah. But
my point was that it's like damned if you do, damned if you don't for them.
I get that point. So if they push them into a corner and they force them to say something, then it's tough to say anything that is not sounding either right wing or to defeatist. And
everybody can't be a Nasir who says that, I'm being targeted, so on and so forth. Because he doesn't have a film coming out.
But why do they have to? See, these are issues that have to be handled by statesmen, if there are any, by leaders of political regimes, if there are any, and not by people who are dancing in songs and movies. I just think this is not their expertise. So let's not overburden them. Let them do what they do best, which is, 6 packs.
But then what about the question?
Dancing, occasionally acting, not very often.
Don't they have the widest reach in this country?
But why do they have to endorse everything, brother? Let them endorse freaking washing machines, that's fine.
Yeah, but that's what the Cobra posting revealed.
They need to have a point of view.
Yeah, that whole thing about endorse a party for money thing.
Yeah.
They'll get trolled for just stating the point of view if it's against the accepted.
Do they have a real point of view, or is it something is something that's
it's the right thing to say, so I have to say it. I want to stay in the limelight. These two reasons.
Yeah.
No, what if the genuine point of view is against the government? They can't voice it.
But then so be it. Then be quiet. But what you're winding up saying is
it's all about context again. At the right time, you have to be quiet. Because there's no point attacking your own country. If
a journalist asks you something, how can you be I'm not going to answer
when 42 of our soldiers have been massacred like that, we have to, we have to introspect a little bit. And we want to, stand up for your country at that point.
Now you're sounding like a...
No, I'm saying at that point, you don't turn around and say, let's look at peace. I'm saying you keep quiet because you're feeling anger. But I'm just thinking there's some sanity in your head to avoid violence, and so just wait for it to dull down a little bit so you can think more reasonably. That's it. What his point is they're in a rush to make their point heard. They're not even thinking it through because they want to align themselves. The psycho-fantasy factor is involved in that. The fact that they want to be heard. And above all, they suddenly start believing that they are the soothsayers of the world. Yeah. They're just artists.
So, see, here's the thing.
You ply your trade.
I actually respect Akshay Kumar, right? Even though
because you like toilet.
No, I don't follow the same...
You didn't like toilet.
I like to use the toilet occasionally.
Me, my manager Pooja, and my chauffeur Shamlal, all three have kidney issues. And we respect anyone who wants to build toilets. We give the vote to you immediately.
But so here's the thing with him, right? As much as I don't follow the same side of things as he does on general arguments, he believes what he's saying. You can tell that he actually has a point of view.
Does he though? Isn't it because the spate of films that he's done have been aligning with
don't think that that's an intentional choice to some degree as well?
Supporting the girl child in periods, dealing
Nothing
with the
wrong with that, sure.
So what are you saying?
But then in toilet, to go out of the way and mention in the dialogue that Swachh Bharat Abhiyan is so progressive and so nice.
But then,
because he knows
the end justifies the means and the good outweighs the bad. So we just let things go. It's too small for me to get involved.
You did not see Akshay Kumar do similar kind of stuff when the other government was in power, right? So, I mean, at that point in time,
that time he was doing Khiladi 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Because back then you didn't have to show that you aligned with you.
I don't know about that.
It's like it's a weird analogy, but it's like bowing head to the mafioso saying, yes, I'm on your side.
Kiss the ring. Yeah,
kiss the ring. Please don't hurt me.
They've just made it mandatory.
Please do an Italian accent, Sicilian accent, and offend him. Amit doesn't like accents.
You have to do the hand gesture also.
You gotta kiss the ring. Come on, kiss my fucking ring.
You're not wearing any.
I'm wearing it in my pants. Gotta kiss it or no? What kind of fucking Sicilian? What are you, Mexican? Kiss my fucking ring. I'm sorry, I don't know where that came from. This ethnic bashing is never going to end. Amit is laughing the most, but he's giggling like a schoolgirl.
I am giggling. Yes, I am amused.
Listen, we've gone way past time. We've got 7 topics. And I said don't go back to Pulwama. It's too serious. It just goes around in circles.
No, Trevor Noah brought us here.
Trevor bloody Noah. We comedians are all whores, aren't they, for humor? At the end of the day, you don't think it through. If it's funny, you go with it and then you apologize. That's the way it works, doesn't it?
He has apologized, though.
Of course he has apologized. How can he offend anyone? He's South African, mixed race, living in America. He's the last person who wants to pick a fight. Come on, we take a break. We'll come back. Kajol, you haven't spoken. When we come back, we have to discuss your special.
All right.
You say jogging, and I'm telling you a story about a man who dated 3 sisters. You say boss, Kurla, and it's about a guy who went out to a party where they were selling beef. This is Anand Sivkumaran, aka The Croc. My show, The Croc's Tales. You give me a word, I'll tell you a story. Words aapke, kahani aapke liye. Do tune in on Monday and Thursday on the IVM website, app, and anywhere you get your podcast from.
Yeah. All right, back here. Lots of topics on Cock and Bull. But before we get into anything, first, Kajol, you've come all the way here and we need to talk about that 10-minute, what's it called? Special episode?
It's just called
Webisode.
My first stand-up video.
My first stand-up. It sounds like a kid, learning to walk. It's like, this is the poo-poo, my child, who is now finished with potty and now will walk all the way from the bathroom to the kitchen. But I believe it's better than that.
It is better than
that. You have
that.
seen poo-poo. Who calls their kid poo-poo? Sorry. So tell us.
Okay. So it's called Men, God-Men, Con-Men. It's a collection of jokes on those.
Right.
And it's on YouTube.
Right.
Which you can get by just typing in Kajol Srinivasan.
Okay. And is it sponsored by...
Godmen or Conmen?
No, what's the group called? I don't want to take names.
AIB?
No. AIB is not the controversy anymore. We moved on.
Which group then?
It starts with Patanjali.
Yes, it's got some jokes on...
You made fun of Baba Ramdev?
Yeah, Kajol
Srinivasan is your son.
Very, very edgy.
You be very careful. So give us a little taste. What is it?
Like, no, yeah. Go log in and see
tell us what the thinking is.
Cyrus.
You don't want to reveal anything.
No, I want the flow of
you
the
have no reveal
video.
clause, is it?
Yes. I'd like someone to just absorb it.
Okay, so how do we just go on YouTube and
there'll be a link in the description of this episode also.
So she's not allowed to give more publicity to herself?
She can, totally.
Abbas, when did you become the fascist? You just sat there and spoke about peace in the world. No,
but she's giving publicity to YouTube. You should. Do you have a link yourself? Do you have a website where you can go to?
No, YouTube is better than a website.
Okay, all right. Well, you can.
He set it up to attack YouTube, and there you go and. Oh man, we really should rehearse.
No, we love YouTube, man.
We love YouTube.
Yeah,
all our episodes are on YouTube as well.
I love you.
We have an podcast channel.
What is it? I love you, Rasna ad will stay forever. I love you, YouTube. It's the most irritating line. I love you, Rasna. Now, what kind of moron kid talks to a packet of what orange squash concentrate and says, I love you, Rasna, like it's a long lost relative for 15 years. He just looks at that little carton and goes, I love you. I can imagine Rasna grew hands strangling that kid in the ad. Why are we discussing this? Kajol, it's called?
Men, Godmen, Conmen.
Men, Godmen, Conmen. Too bloody complicated. Too friggin' long. 10 minutes is the title. Then what, you got a minute left for credits?
The good, the bad and the ugly. It's like that.
That should be our show, by the way. We have to find good and bad though. Okay, what's up?
So Prime Minister Modi was addressing a group of children.
Birthday party?
No.
Not a really rich industrialist. I've got the Prime Minister talking to the kids. PM, aja. Bandi, meet the PM. Happy birthday, bolo.
One kid was telling him about the stats about dyslexia and how dyslexic children are being helped. And he made that, he chose that opportunity to take a dig at Rahul.
What is the exact line?
So he said कि ये 40-50 साल के बच्चों को कभी ठीक हो सकता है क्या? And then the kid didn't know how to respond, so it just went on. And
kid thought he's making fun of his father.
Then again he asked, and then the kid I think said yes, and then he said तब तो बच्चे की माँ बहुत खुश हो जाएगी.
Oh, it's a double whammy.
Yeah.
Really? So what are the Ma Ben galis? Now it's like Beta Ma galis. We changed everything. It's moved on.
So again, a lot of
See, I don't have a problem with all this. I don't have a problem with all this. Honestly, I think it's a little vicious, but it's still humor.
It was a wrong place to crack the joke.
This is No, he's
Kajol, how can you do this? You're a comedian. Let them have a little sparring match.
I'm a comedian. He's heading the nation.
So what? He wants to be a little funny?
No.
That's what I'm saying.
Not at the
I don't
cost,
have a problem with it.
Not a problem with the
taking
dig.
A dig at dyslexic people. No.
It's not really. Come on. We're so politically correct that, okay, that's it. We retire. There's nothing we can do.
So there was
There's
this
nothing we can do because you will offend someone.
There was this incident where Trump made fun of a disabled reporter, where he made all these actions on the video. Is that right?
It's not the same thing. You can't draw a line between this and that.
Why?
They're in the same field, but they're not the same. One is playing forward, one is playing defense. It's totally different as far as I'm concerned. In this case, he was trying to be funny and, of course, a little vicious, but that's what satire is. You're making your point.
The butt of the joke was Rahul Gandhi. In that case, the butt of the joke was the reporter.
Exactly.
So
absolutely.
there is a little bit of a...
But even in this
powerful
case,
man attacking small man on different levels.
No, but I think...
they're sparring. These are the two guys who are going to spar in the next month or two. And he's if you see a bull kicking a terrible metaphor, but kicking the sand and getting ready to fight. So he's ready. He's throwing the gauntlet down, and now Rahul will pick it up. Let them do some banter. I love banter.
No, you can't have the leader of a nation making fun of a group which can't defend itself.
It wasn't really about dyslexia. You're missing the point.
But isn't that the point?
We've just spoken about everybody getting emotional and jingoism and this and that, and now you're getting emotional. Amit, please back me up on this.
So here's the thing, right? I mean, like, if you try and get into it too deeply, then it's not that big a deal. But on the surface, see, when you look at it very shallowly, I get what you're saying. But when you look at it a little more depth, at that point in time, it's
he's trying to make. He's found an opening to crack a joke and take a dig at his old sparring mate who's going to.
The thing is just that, right? That the reason why it works is because it is taking a dig at Rahul Gandhi.
If they spend their time taking digs at each other and little banter and to and fro, it won't hurt anybody. Instead of the kind of policies that may attack groups of people and agendas for certain types of people against other types of people, that's the danger.
What could be an issue over here is, and what is probably an issue over here, is that we have the Prime Minister who equates dyslexia with being dumb.
Yeah. Exactly.
And that's a problem.
Yes.
Right? So that is an issue.
No, you don't even have to go that deep into it.
So that's what I'm saying. So when you get deeper and deeper, it's
a off-the-cuff remark. I would have said something like that. For a minute, I was like, I want that line. But, okay, I stole silence.
But that's what I'm saying now, Cyrus. The thing is, a comedian doing this off-the-cuff thing can still be kind of forgiven. You're the leader of the nation. You're supposed to be a little
now batting for the other team. We the whole thing about freedom of expression and letting people talk.
I'm saying there's nothing wrong in the dig that
freedom of expression in all contexts, apparently.
but you're okay. You've been consistent in your bigotism. So I give you
the time and place of taking the dig was not.
It wasn't about the dyslexia. It's not about the. It was only about.
But it's the kid talking about dyslexia.
Yeah, true, but
giving stats about it.
Look, at the best, you can give him a little hit on the wrist saying uncool. But really, we're making mountains out of molehills. So, and every group cannot go on like this. I'm offended. What the hell? Offendistan? Is that a new name? Everything you're offended about. Everything.
So have you heard Meryl Streep's speech at the Oscars about Trump? Where she says that I saw a man who was so high in stature above the people he was making fun of. You can't do that. You're taking bullying to another level. No, you're telling people that I can bully people. So yeah,
you should not punch down. You should punch up. I get that, but over here, Modi was punching at Rahul Gandhi on the back.
He was using the wrong forum to make a point against a colleague. If they're allowed to fight with each other, we want them to fight.
That's what I'm saying.
It's like a sport. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Wrong place, wrong time.
Or maybe. All right, I give up. I can't give him my tongue's paining. You win, Kajol. You're right. I'm going to call the Prime Minister. I'm going to give him a talk. I'm going to tell him no more birthday parties.
Okay, let's go to movies now. So Steven Spielberg is pushing for a rule which will not allow Netflix original films to compete in Academy Awards. Because
it's been going on for some time.
According to Spielberg and a few other film producers and directors, it's unfair to the normal distribution.
And if you watch Jaws 1 for special effects, you wonder sometimes.
they still hold up.
You really think so?
Yeah.
They look like Ramsey brothers to me. No, not the shark. I mean the special effects. Oops, offended? Take it off the air.
We'll be getting letters from sharks
like that.
Yeah, one way or the other.
So yeah, I mean, a lot of people have been saying that if the artistic merit is the same, shooting it, putting it on Netflix and shooting it and
this
putting it.
This is going to be interesting. I wonder what side everybody is on, because I think I'm on the opposite side of everybody else on this one as well.
As in?
I think Spielberg is right.
Right?
Yes. I'm pretty sure
I think Spielberg is wrong. I think it's an open field. I mean, it's art. So just let everybody from anywhere compete with anything that's remotely cinematic.
The
on
films
any
that
medium
are
rather.
in theaters, they have to find distributors, they have to find number of theaters
and
to play
you are
the film.
locked into a certain kind of method
But it's
of
not
filmmaking.
but it's not a populist. Okay, we'll come to that. That's the second point. But it's not a populist award.
Which one? The Academy Awards?
Yeah,
But
it's got nothing to do with populism. It's got to do with 20 people in a jury sitting and having different accents. If you don't mind me doing them, 8,000 people in a jury. I brought them on a 20 sample study, going, it was beautiful. I thought it was very good. I didn't understand it. I thought it was, and with no Appu, by the way. So that's what it comes down to. So why are we? What's the biggie? Now your point is that the second point is a little different.
So my point stands on both of these things, right? In the sense that when you're making a movie for a television screen, that's different than when you're making a movie for a big screen.
Is Netflix television though?
It's a television screen.
It's a screen.
It's the method.
It's not widescreen. Okay,
not,
but other than that, it's every screen.
Well, it is.
So,
I watch more on television than I watch on film. I watch more movies at home than I watch on the
Nobody in the
theater.
world today will be consuming. There'll be no equality left. Okay, 99%, 95% consumption will be on your different screens.
Okay,
and 5% will be in a bloody theater.
I agree.
Fact. And I'm giving this a very nice point.
But
it's probably 98 or something.
It's probably even higher than that. Yeah. But my point being that because I know that I watched probably 25 movies at home for every movie I watch.
Which is the last movie you watched on the screen? Give me a month. Give me a date.
Uri.
Oh, give me the date.
2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Jan, no?
Early Feb.
Yeah,
I think.
Feb. So in 3 months, 3 months, almost 2 months, 2 months and a bit, you watch one film.
3 movies this year so far.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make an effort to watch more. So 3 so far.
Okay. He's weird. I set up this point thinking we'll go somewhere with it. I feel like an idiot. So, when they're defendant, then I'm the lawyer and the guy just can't say the right thing. He's guilty, my lord.
Fair enough. Okay. No, but I think the other point being that if you are making a film for distribution through the theater system, right, you're locked into certain issues that come up around that, right, in terms of the commercial viability of something within the theater system itself. Netflix works very differently. Netflix, like, you're Martin Scorsese, take a check. Make whatever the hell you want. You're Alfonso Cuarón,
abuse the green door and take 2 checks.
Steven Spielberg, make whatever you want. You want to make a movie shot on iPhones? Go for it.
Rohit Shetty?
Right? This is a different thing than having to make a movie that has theatrical release. To the point where I think that you're stuck with certain things, right? If you want to make a movie for wide release, compared to this, you have freedom to a degree which you don't on that side.
But then you're saying that the Netflix films should not be awarded.
I agree.
But then you're saying they're getting more creative freedom, which results in better films.
Honestly, I'll give you a cricket metaphor. It's almost like box cricket versus the IPL. It's I don't understand.
No, I'm a little confused with Amit's point. You're saying Netflix gives the creators more freedom
so you get more freedom to do stuff.
You get better films, so then why shouldn't they be rewarded?
You'll get slightly different. You'll get films which are made without the same compulsions.
The reservations are less.
Yeah.
So then they should be rewarded at the highest.
So I guess that's the difference, right? I kind of.
So what you're saying, it's not a level playing ground while making a film. For one people, the rules and regulations are stiffer, and for others, they're not.
Yeah.
Okay, now as a student of pornography, I don't have a view on this because I want everyone to make good adult films and give me a call.
For you, all pornography is at
No, I've seen some really bad stuff and coming from a bad industry, frankly speaking. Yeah, I just feel that they should retire some of the men. The guy's still there, 35 years, no pension plan, nothing. And, he's still at it. He can still, with the medication and whatever chemical enhancement, he's doing great. But I'm like, really, he's spoiling my mood. Because he's still getting it.
You know what the worst part is? A guy not having a pension plan seems like a plot of a
porn film. Yeah. Hello, I'm calling about my pension plan. I'm here to fix the geezer. Accents. Sorry, bad ones. Kajol.
Yes.
Do you have a view on this Netflix thing? You're a Netflix user. You're going to be on Netflix soon?
Okay, I'm totally on Netflix, and I totally think Steven Spielberg is wrong. I like the whole idea of giving people freedom.
And you hated Jaws.
No, I'm just for it. I really think it should be allowed.
So you just want to believe in a level playing ground, whether you like it or not, whatever the rules are for different
what I read in the
mediums.
Article, what I read in the article is that 4 of the people who Netflix have promoted have been people of color, who have not been given chances.
Leftist leanings are coming out even in this conversation now.
I'm giving you a point of view.
So you're saying Netflix helps the smaller guy come up?
It does.
Yeah.
But he just said it's actually the bigger guy who gets a great canvas.
They both. And Netflix has given smaller people chances
They have,
as well.
but I mean, I think that is also a deliberate...
Yeah, they mix it up so they have a variety.
I mean, like, they have a lot, right? So, I mean, like, the way Netflix works again, right? Because of the platform model that they have, they are able to slice and dice audiences in a way that you cannot do in regular theaters.
I get you.
In regular films, right? So, like, for example, we've all heard the story of how House of Cards was made, right? Netflix basically on data realized that, political works, Thriller works, sex works. Let's make House of Cards.
Also,
1 minute. Why did you guys attack Manmohan Desai in the 80s? This is the way we think.
his film made the most money.
I know. I'm just saying the formula thinking came from India.
I love Manmohan
So do I.
Desai.
So I'm saying, but people make fun. People look down on the Indian filmmaking style of the 80s and said, formula. It's changed a little bit now, but we still have that formula intent. Right?
Manmohan Desai was in the 70s, not the 80s.
He did some
My
80s also.
generation.
80s was the...
Nasib was which year?
Huh?
Nasib was 1981, which
There
was
you
his
go.
last good one.
And then,
After that, he kind of fell off. His heyday was in the 70s.
How do we
Amar
go
Akbar Anthony.
from Spielberg to Manmohan Desai? Give me a bloody lecture. My father grew up with Manmohan Desai. Just call him Money.
Okay.
Right? In Kedwadi. So they grew up together.
Yeah.
Please understand. And he didn't know that he'd be such a big filmmaker and his son would be a struggling actor. But unfortunately, our eras didn't match. So, no, couldn't make the phone call.
Son?
No, I was my dad's son.
Oh, acha, okay.
Manmohan Desai's son was the director of the movie
Ketan.
Tufan.
Ketan.
That's
okay.
it, yes.
Ketan.
He's done a few films, but the father something, and let's not get into it. All right.
We're done. Let's go to the AMAs.
We're done. Let's go to the AMAs. You talk too much. Kajol, Amit, shut up. Okay? Netflix sucks. I mean, I love it. I love Netflix. Do they help us with the podcast anyway?
Not yet, but soon.
You never know.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Netflix, lovely people.
Lovely people.
They
Potential.
actually put out a tweet about recommending podcasts recently.
That's
So
the general family. It's like helping India.
Yeah, but they are
not
promoting
my
podcasts.
farmer in Maharashtra. Okay.
They're basically looking for a new podcast to make into shows. Like Dear John was a podcast which they made into a show. Which is
Dear
done
John was
really
a
well.
podcast. No wonder
If
I
Cyrus Says becomes a show, who would you like to play you?
Well, I think there's only one actor worthy of this, Bobby Darling. He's back in the news. Bobby Darling is back. India is in a safe place. Okay, AMAs.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. If you're not following us on social media, please make sure you do. We are IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. As I mentioned over the last couple of weeks, we've been running a survey on our website. It's at ivmpodcast.com/survey. Please fill it out if you haven't already. And just so you guys know, there is a prize involved for the 25 people we will select at random, and we will send them an IVM Podcast mug. On the Scene and the Unseen, Amit Verma's guest is journalist Alexandra Ulmar. The two of them have a conversation about modern Venezuela. On How to Citizen, Meghna Adarshayas are joined by comedian Uruj Ashfaq to dissect Chapter 7, Understanding Marginalization. On IVM Likes, Alika, Abbas, Janam and myself discuss the relevance of the Oscars and what exactly counts as a best picture. On Dating is Garbage, Abbas, Janam and Surbi sit with stand-up comics Siddharth Dudeja and Pavitra Shetty to discuss cheesy pickup lines and the right age to start dating. On the Pragati podcast, the discussion this time is about Afghanistan before and after the 9/11 attacks. On Shunya 1, Abhishek Madhavan from MPL joins the table to talk about the various challenges of running an online gaming platform. On our Marathi show, Golgappa, Trupti is joined by actor Shreya Pilgaonkar, who bonds with Trupti over food and theatre. And with that, let's continue with your show.
If you have any questions for Cyrus, write to us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Or you can send an email to whatcyrussays@gmail.com.
And once again, the AMA is the exciting part of the show. Kajol is smiling for some reason because she thinks there'll be interesting questions. They're not. Abbas?
Ajinkya Sharma has a very important question. He asks, roti to your right, sabji to your left, or vice versa?
Right, always the carb, normally.
Okay.
With the way I sit, I know everybody will be different, I guess. But it would be on my right hand because I use my fork, left hand with the fork all the time. No problem.
I think, roti to the right.
Yeah.
Actually, front and back. It's not left and right.
What?
Roti behind.
You put your
sabzi
food
in
behind
front.
you?
No. So in the plate.
What are you, an elephant?
Sabzi in the front, roti in the back.
Oh, okay, that way.
There's
I thought he places the roti behind his bum and then he puts the food in front. Yeah.
There's actually science to this?
No,
it's
culturally,
just a
which hand do
question.
you use to eat and how? No, just think about it for a
So-
second.
It's your preference.
In my house, it's always been roti to
No.
the right. But in
your
restaurant,
plate, when you're
in
not in
restaurants,
context of the whole room.
No, in restaurants, the quarter plate is always to the left, which is supposed to be for the roti.
And you use your right hand if you use utensils, use your right hand or use your hand to eat.
Yeah.
So generally they expect
So
you to do
isn't
that.
it a little ulta to break it from
I
the
do.
left?
I'm reverse.
Even I'm reverse.
I use left hand and right for the thing.
Or the best
I
thing.
also use two forks, which most people don't do.
Why would you use
I find
the
two forks very comfortable to eat food.
Okay, I'm trying to...
Try it.
Okay.
Try it. Just
What if it's like
it's all non-vegetarian cuisine, so the two forks help a lot.
Okay.
Two forks
Oh,
always
yeah,
better.
yeah, yeah.
Two forks always better than one. Old German proverb.
I can see that.
Can I do the accent?
We just established that.
She didn't answer. You didn't answer.
Kajol.
I didn't even know that such logic existed. I don't care
Where's your
wherever it
chapati
is.
when you're eating? Where's your...
Yeah, what is your default setting?
I don't think about it.
But what is your
just think.
default setting?
If you're at home, your normal setting, what is it?
I just put it wherever it is on the plate. I mean, it doesn't matter.
Are you a refugee? So why don't you have an idea about how the food is placed? What kind of uncivilized behavior is this?
I watch Netflix and I have dinner, and I don't really care what's happening on my plate.
She really wants the special, huh? You're saying all the right things. Let's just hope that the guy who wrote it doesn't own Netflix, because he'll be really pissed.
South Indians that way smart. Now they put the aloo in the dosa. It's like just...
So it's all one, all there.
It's all one.
Yeah, save time. That's why they work harder. They can eat faster. Yeah.
Okay, Swastik writes to us from California. He says, amazing podcast. Cyrus, keep up the great work. His question is...
Swastik without the A, but
without the okay. His question is, why do home countries win more medals in Olympics but seldom win the Cricket World Cup, except the last two?
Now, which is the country that does well in the... Australia is the only country that I can think of that actually, England to some extent, does well in the Olympics. India now coming up a little bit. Other three. The rest don't. South Africa doesn't win too many medals. So who else?
No,
Zimbabwe.
That's not his question. His question is, why is home field advantage more important in the Olympics than in cricket?
Than a cricket.
Yeah, that's true.
Tournament.
In fact, until India won, I think in 2011, nobody won the home World Cup. Yeah, that's true. Yep. Australia won the last one though.
That's the last two. He says India won in India.
So the trend has changed now, but up till 2011, definitely it was true.
Do you think it's England's time this time?
How important?
No.
How important is home field advantage in cricket?
It's just too many matches, man. So you've got to lose just one match once you enter the second half of the tournament. So even with home field advantage, cricket has too many variables. Okay. It's a long game, 50 overs each side. If you get the seam conditions suiting you, you bowl first and the ball is swinging and suddenly 4 for nothing. If there's dew, and that factor comes in when you're in the second half of the day. If the ball is spinning, if the wicket suddenly breaks up a little bit. Because England, there's always a chance for the bowlers.
But home field advantage is important both in like soccer and even American football.
That's more the crowd cheering and the fact that they're just at home.
But so is this not?
It's not so much the pitch.
Does it matter over here? Does that matter?
That also matters, but I'm saying we have more variables in cricket than in any other game, except chess. Because in chess, if you want to scratch and play at the same time, I found that very hard.
Is there statistical proof that home field advantage is advantageous to a player as opposed to playing it?
I could make it up on the spot. I could use names that make sense, like Snellman and Paul say. You just have to get the right names.
Snellman and Paul sound like Duckworth and Lewis.
Yeah, that's what. So you just got to give them names, because Duckworth and Lewis sound like people who would come up with this stupid idea of 7.22 versus 8.33, whatever the hell.
I always thought of Duckworth and Lewis. Duckworth is some pudgy guy and Lewis is like his shorter side.
You just sort of a comic caper team, right? Here they are, ladies and gentlemen, Duckworth and Lewis.
Okay, Vinay Nair asks, hi Cyrus, you always mention that you like to get everything done fast and that you are bored easily.
Very easy.
Is there any exception to this rule? Is there something that you like to take your time?
I'll tell you my problem sometimes. Right now I'm at medium rate, but sometimes I can be really high rate and I don't know what to do. Like if they don't open the door, I circle outside the house a lot. Okay, I often open lifts before they land. I often open lifts before they land down. I start cars with people half in. I run over people with my mirrors because they're still at the corner when I expected them to have moved one more step. So these kind of things happen all the time with me, and I also hate repeating myself and sound very fascist after all this, but I can't bear it. So I've done this before. I actually start talking in really soft, the highlights, slow motion on the old sports things. So like if somebody says, what did you say? So supposing I said, Kajol, are you coming back tomorrow for the recording? And she says, what? Kajol, are you coming back? And it sounds really stupid like the way you're reacting now, but my family, they just ignore it, but I do it all the time. So I'll be like, Mom, listen, what time do you need the car? What? Then do you need the car? And she'll just tell my dad, they started this crap again. So I've got problems, but we all have problems, Abbas. What are your problems? You're taking too long to answer.
Okay, let's...
What are your problems?
In what sense?
But he's asking me about this whole fast thing. The fast thing is an issue.
I take my time with most things. So
yeah, so slow rhythms get to me very fast.
Okay.
Yeah, you can imagine. Yeah.
I'm very surprised you didn't give a sexually charged answer to this when he asked what you'd like to take your time with. I'm like, Cyrus is definitely going to give a...
But I can't remember this sex thing. It's so many years ago. Fast or slow, how does it matter when it's just history? Right, Amit? Sorry, not right, Amit. I didn't mean it that way. I don't drag you into my life. Yeah. I'm sure there's hope. Is that her name?
Okay,
Amit just gave a sexy expression which you can't see because it's an audio show. It's just wrong. I want to cancel the show right now. He actually raised both eyebrows in a slightly flirtatious way. He flirted with me on air. Kajol, you saw that? Did you see the eyes go up?
I saw it. I definitely saw it. Yeah.
Now let's see where your hand goes. Chapati or salad?
Wow. Okay. Okay. Girish Gogia asks, Cyrus, if you get an opportunity to be a judge on a TV show, which one would it be?
Oh, I want to be in Laughter Challenge. The ones where you just laugh.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I love that. I'm thinking I come for 5 minutes. Oh. I look left. They shoot me. Name of the contestant? Biku. Biku! Yaar, lajawab. Badmash. So I'll finish with all the contestants' names and reactions. I'll do all my laughs, change them. 2 negative remarks per episode, not more than that. Yeah, mere khayal se that was lifted. You know, I'll do my mixed English also because it always sounds good in a Hindi program. And finished.
Were you never approached for judging Laughter Challenge?
No, sadly, but it's a good point. I have been telling my manager to get me this judging thing because I think it's the biggest scam. And insincerity is my thing. You know, I've been doing it for years. Because people come at airports and say, I want to be VJ, I want to be actor, or I like you. I've always been nice about it, even knowing that they'll never have a chance in hell. You know, have you ever had that?
No, but tell you one thing, the judges really give responses like that or what?
Kajol, what is wrong with you? Of course. You think they're in at 8 o'clock in the morning? No. Archana Puran Singh will come at 2:30, do her makeup, sit there and laugh for 5 minutes.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Well, if they want to pass time in the day, they're there because the cutaway shots are all.
So then how do they know that it's laughing and
Listen, I've done at least 5 reality shows and enough times the judges are not there when we start. But they're there towards the middle. We have to continue because money is money, time is money. So it continues. So they don't show, say, if Jitendra is missing, then you cut him out for 5 minutes or whatever and you bring him back later and then you remind him who the person was.
But that means that the production house decides what reaction?
Well, no, it's not their problem. The problem is the judges mostly are either really big stars or used to be big stars who think they're big stars even though nobody notices them anymore. So then the problem is that they are not disciplined enough and they want to, main baad mein aayega, what time will you finish those shots? Just take my shots later. Everybody wants to do their shots later. Everybody, because who wants to sit for 12 hours when you can sit for 4?
So all those standing ovations and all of that are all made up.
Sometimes they're there for collective shots. They'll be there but they won't be there for the whole program.
You just blew Kajol's mind. You're going to go rewatch every comedy show.
Kajol, this is not just India. It's done all over the world.
Like my mom is such a big fan of all of these. And she's like, Shilpa Shetty got up and gave a standing ovation to that performance.
It's possible on that particular day the family had gone for a picnic. I'll spend the whole day at the show and, I'll even remember the name of the contestant. The really bad judges, they just say, boss. And they hit their heart and all. Have you seen those ones? Because they can't remember the name of the contestant. I can see their faces. I can see it immediately that they've forgotten the name, but they want to look stupid because now close up. And why do a second take? Nobody wants second take. So it's like, wow, kya baat hai. And when the judges cry, sometimes I really think that they decided to cry before the performance. So they've started their cry very often. So the guy started singing and then, his whole story about how he came, straight out of Shillong with just on one leg and took him a long time to reach wherever and he struggled for 15 years and he's not eaten since Tuesday and all that. And then he sings a beautiful song with a nice voice. But they've already started crying at the last guy's finish so that they're ready for this guy.
Okay, if they're doing this, and who's really judging?
Nobody's judging. Who judges? It's a stupid show.
But the numbers and all that.
No, they judge. They pass the numbers and all that.
So they see the performance.
Yeah.
They probably watch it on television if they're not there at that time. Like they'll watch a replay or something.
Oh, okay.
So they do have some degree of reality.
Okay.
Look, if you've got good judges who are disciplined and want to sit, then everything becomes easy. But I'm saying if they're not there, and very often at least 1 out of 4, 1 out of 5, there will be a problem. They mix and match. Ask Amit, he worked in the business for 2 years.
No, and also these things take forever to shoot, right? I mean,
why do we
thing like The Voice?
Why do we need
7 hours a day?
Why does a production person have to actually go and say now laugh, now clap? They signal them because the online editor's already putting it all together in his head that wow, now we'll cry, this crying moment. It's not really a crying moment for everybody, but they make sure it is.
Oh my God.
So we all collectively cry. So tell your mother to watch a show called The Week That Wasn't. Badly edited.
She watches that.
Clothes that don't fit.
One. She's a big fan.
Bad humor, but it's all real.
No, she's a big fan.
We have no money for other actors or judges. We can't afford even a judge to look at the show and say no more. Yeah.
It's International Women's Day tomorrow, so
we
let's
forgot about
end
that.
with wishing them.
Yes, to all the foreign women in India, International Women's Day. Have a great one. March 8th, yes, huge for me. Big stuff. I salute everybody, male, female, transgender, everybody. I just go berserk. I used to touch people, but now after the Me Too thing, I don't do that anymore because in our culture, I don't know, parts of India hugging is big. Parts of India hugging is not. Have you noticed that? Parts of
which
India,
part? I mean,
like in certain, say, northern cultures, everybody hugs you.
Yeah.
The moment you go to the, broja, I love you, yaar. And straight away, it's a big hug and a hold and a proper pelvis to pelvis, 15 minutes of heterosexual love because they have no idea it's wrong. And in some parts, sometimes in the south, for example, they really like you, but they don't necessarily go and grab you. But they show you a lot of love immediately, but they don't do the touching.
Yeah.
So everyone's, they're different. I'll tell you this from pickups, chauffeurs. So in Delhi, when they fetch me sometimes, they actually hold your hand. If they recognize you, hello, kaise ho, sab theek, and all that, they have a conversation like that. And in the south, they recognize you, they're really nice, but they will never touch you. They show a lot of respect like that. It's just the way it is.
It's good. I
don't like being touched, though.
Exactly. I like the south.
We have to end on that. You just start the war all over again. Now we finish with Pakistan, divide the country. Oh, man. That's it, guys. Okay, catch us on any of the podcasting apps, please. We beg you, we need you. Send us your questions on Twitter on Cyrus Says In. Or you can email us, even if you're not female, on whatcyrussays@gmail.com.
And that's what Cyrus says.
Look, up in the internet. It's a meme. No, it's a cat video. No, it's the Geek Fruit Podcast.
That's right. We interrupt this riveting broadcast to tell you about our show, the Geek Fruit Podcast, where Tejas, Dinkar, and I, Jishnu, talk about everything in pop culture, including DC, Marvel, Star Wars, Netflix, and everything in between.
You know how your friends hate it when you ramble about some nerdy crap and you just want somebody to listen to you? Well, sorry, there's nothing we can do about that, but come listen to us ramble and it'll almost be like the real thing. Kind of.
Listen to new episodes of the Geek Fruit Podcast every Monday and the Geek Fruit Bulletin every Thursday on iTunes, Google Podcasts, the IVM app, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Happy listening, you nerds.
Every week comes a show where three people come together to tell you about stuff they like. A movie, a TV show, a book, and other stuff. Tune in every Monday on the IVM Podcast app to IVM Likes. Batman approves this message. Thank you, Batman.